What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? How is everybody doing? Hold, let me bring it in chat. Bring it in chat. What's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Y'all getting ready? Y'all frying your hair? Remember this time of the year, it was my job to put the straightening comb on the eye, let it get nice and hot. Take it in the room where my mom was doing my sister's hair. And then when it cooled off, I had to take it back, put it back on the heat, and let it warm up again. So you smell that smell of cooking hair. All right, I hope everybody's doing good today. Where's my let me hit share screen. And share screen. I'm getting together. Today, are we celebrating Easter Sunday? Or are we celebrating the Resurrection Sunday? Or Passover? What is it? We go back and forth. I'm not here to bash anything that people are doing to celebrate, just having a discussion. We should be able to question everything and have an answer for everything. When people come asking us, especially believers, we should have an answer. So that's what tonight is all about. Hold on a second. I'm looking for my controls. Go ahead and stop that. All right. And I wanted to start somewhere. I pray this thing works. We just celebrated Good Friday yesterday. There's a little problem with it. If you read the scriptures, it wasn't Friday. So I wanted to play a little video. This guy, he goes through the timeline. Hold on a second, people. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I got it right here. Boom, boom. And I pray it works. He breaks it down. So if we can watch this video together, and then we can have a little discussion about it, and then move on to the next thing. And that gives people time to come on in. Let's see, will this thing work here? Let's try it. Add to screen and hit play. Please play, all right? Play. There we go. Here's the timeline from the death, burial, and resurrection of our Savior.
The only sign that Jesus gave of him being the Messiah was that he would be in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. But can this be proven from Scripture and plotted on a timeline? One of the biggest problems when it comes to proving this one sign is that most of us have difficulty calculating 3 days and 3 nights from Friday evening to Sunday morning. One question is, did he actually mean 3 full days, or was he referring to parts of days and parts of nights? The Greek phrase 3 days and 3 nights in the New Testament can actually mean parts of 3 days and 3 nights. But even if we use this logic, there's still not a third night period between Friday evening and Sunday morning. And we're still left with a confusing scenario that can't be plotted on a timeline. But actually, it is possible to prove the chronology of the 3 days and 3 nights from Scripture and to plot it on a timeline, proving the one incredible sign of his messiahship. When the Jewish leaders asked for a sign of his messiahship, he told them no sign will be given except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The Old Testament Hebrew phrase he referred to literally means 3 full days and 3 full nights, or 72 hours. He also said in John 2, verse 19, he would be raised from the grave in 3 days. Mark 8:31 records after 3 days. And Luke 24:46 says he would rise from the dead the 3rd day. So assuming it was a full 72 hours, let's construct a timeline using the eyewitness events recorded in the Gospels. To start, we need to consider the fact that the Jews and the disciples of Jesus did not keep the Christian holidays we think of today. Rather, they celebrated the Passover and a festival called the Days of Unleavened Bread, cited in Luke 22, verses 1 and 7. Leviticus 23, 5 through 7 explains that the day immediately following the Passover was actually a high day, or annual Sabbath, which was different from the weekly Sabbath they observed on Saturdays. These observances began at sunset and ended at sunset the next day. So when Jesus died in 31 AD, the Passover began on a Tuesday evening, while the high day Sabbath, mentioned in John 19, verse 31, started on a Wednesday evening at sundown and ended at sunset Thursday, which means that the Friday that year actually fell between two Sabbaths, an annual Sabbath on Thursday and the weekly Sabbath on Saturday. Now let's look at the details and fill in the timeline. Jesus celebrated the Passover with his disciples in Luke 22, 13 through 15, which happened right after sunset Tuesday evening. Then, right after the Passover meal, they went out to the Mount of Olives, where Jesus prayed 3 times while his disciples kept falling asleep. Later that night, Jesus was betrayed, arrested, and taken to the Jewish authorities. Mark 15:1 then tells us, in the morning, that is Wednesday morning, the chief priests and other Jewish leaders bound Jesus, led him away, and delivered him to Pilate. Verse 25 says at 9 a.m. that morning, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ began. Then from 12 to 3 p.m., there was darkness over the land. And finally, at the end of the darkness, we're told in Mark 15, verses 34 and 37, that Jesus cried out with a loud voice and breathed his last. The Savior of the world died for everyone who ever lived. But at some point between 3 p.m. and sundown, as John 19:31 says, because it was the preparation day that the body should not remain on the cross on the Sabbath, for that Sabbath was a high day, the Jews asked Pilate that their legs might be broken and they might be taken away. In other words, they wanted to make sure they were all dead so they could get them in their graves before the sun went down and the annual Sabbath began. But at this point, Jesus was already dead. Then in Mark 15, verses 42 through 47, we see that just before the sun set Wednesday evening, beginning the annual Sabbath, Joseph of Arimathea asked for the body of Jesus and laid him in his tomb, while Mary and the other women watched. So shortly after laying him in his tomb, the sun set and the holy day for annual Sabbath began. Then Friday morning, as Mark 16:1 points out, when the Sabbath had passed, or the high day Sabbath as John called it, the women bought spices so they can embalm him, as the shops would have been closed for the holy day. After purchasing the spices, Luke 23:56 says, they returned and prepared the spices and fragrant oils, and they rested on the Sabbath according to the commandment. Instead, this time it was the weekly Sabbath, which began at sundown Friday evening and ended at sunset Saturday evening. So as the sun was going down Friday evening to begin the weekly Sabbath, it had already been 2 full days and 2 full nights. However, it wasn't until Sunday morning that they would go back to embalm the body of Jesus, as the Sabbath day had to pass, and then they couldn't make progress on the project at night. So ready to take care of their Savior's body, Luke 24, verse 1 shows they arrived on the first day of the week very early in the morning, having brought the spices and oils they prepared on Friday before they rested on the Sabbath. While John 20, verse 1 says, Mary actually showed up while it was still dark. But at this point, it had been 1, 2, 3 days and 1, 2, 3, 4 nights since he was laid in his tomb. So as Luke 24, 2 through 3 explains, when they showed up, they found the stone rolled away from the tomb, and when they went in, he was already gone. Going on, verses 6 and 7 record the angel saying, he is not here, but he is risen. Remember how he spoke to you, saying, the Son of Man must be crucified, and the third day rise again? The end of the third full day was Saturday evening, just before sunset. He was put in the grave as the sun was going down Wednesday evening, before the holy day began. So the first night was Wednesday night, the first day was Thursday day, the second night was Thursday night, the second day was Friday day, the third night was Friday night, and the third day was Saturday day. Then, just before the sun went down Saturday evening, Jesus Christ was resurrected from the dead exactly 3 days and 3 nights from the time he was put in his tomb to the time he was resurrected, just as he said he would be. fulfilling the one sign of his messiahship. Being able to understand and prove the sequence of events from Scripture can strengthen our belief in Jesus Christ as the one true Messiah. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. To learn more, go to our website, tomorrowsworld.org.
Okay, special thanks to Tomorrow's World for explaining that. Like I said, a lot of people are confused. They say it was Friday night when he passed away. 3 days later, 3 nights later, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the math does not add up. But I think a lot of people just overlook it or just go past it. They never really explain them. They just say it was 3 days. But this explains it. And, we just understand the times, anyway, the times back then. Sharice, did you hear anything back from her? Okay. All right, we got the guests coming in. All right, so that was the timeline. I'm gonna minimize it. So, anybody, people who had questions about I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So people who had questions, I know some people are like, why it does not add up? It just does not add up. 3 days and 3 nights. That explains it. The Bible explains it. So now you can just watch that video, watch it again, or share that video. So you can help share and let people understand about how the 3 days and 3 nights work. So it's a good holiday to celebrate Good Friday, but Friday is not the day that he died. Okay, so that was sorry, look at my notes. Good Friday. Did the timeline. So now the next question people have is, what's the difference between Easter and then some people, a lot of people celebrate Easter. That's the most prevalent holiday that that people celebrate, especially here in the United States, is Easter. You see Easter on TV. You got the Easter bunnies. You got the Easter eggs. That's a cute little bunny. I want to bring the bunny up. Come on, bunny. Oh. What was that all about? Computer tripping. Sorry. Here we go. There we go. There's the nice old Easter bunny. So we're used to the bunny, but the bunny represents fertility because they say rabbits like to do it and have a lot of babies, a lot of bunnies, and also the eggs represent fertility. So so Easter comes from the goddess Esther. They have other different names, Isis, even Columbia, District of Columbia, talking about the same thing. That was celebrated well before Jesus. That holiday was celebrated well before Jesus, and I believe, I think in the Bible is talking about they wanted to postpone some of the punishment because they wanted to celebrate Easter. So again, the Son of God being crucified really has nothing at all to do with Easter, but it's basically some holidays that the world was already celebrating, and they just, as I say, the quote unquote church incorporated that holiday with the same timeline of Jesus' resurrection. So what it does line up with also is, why I do not see, let me minimize this. Sorry, buddy, got to go away for now. The Passover. So you know what the Passover is. When the Jews were in Egypt, and the death angel was coming, everyone who all God's people were it was God's people and the non-believers were told to put the blood across the top of the door and the sides of the door, and the death angel would pass over. So that was a holiday that um, the Jewish, the Hebrew people celebrated, and this is the same time of year um, during the resurrection. So when Jesus was crucified, he was crucified during the time of the Passover. So that's why our Jewish brothers and sisters celebrate Passover around the same. I think, yeah, like I said, it's around the same time of the year, the same week. And also, so now the Christians, quote unquote Christians, don't celebrate the Jewish holidays, which I believe they should. They celebrate Resurrection Sunday. Um, so that's why it's three different things. So the world celebrates Easter, and it's the Easter eggs, the bunny rabbits, the chocolates, the jelly beans. So yes, I'm gonna be looking for some discount jelly beans and discount chocolate in the coming days. Um, so yeah, so Easter is celebrated by the world, and then the Christians really celebrate um, the resurrection, and the resurrection still happened around the same time as the Passover. So that's why the Jewish brothers and sisters celebrate Passover, of the death angel passing over. Hello, my special guest. I see you just popped in. And just, hello. How in the world are you?
Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm
You
doing
too.
well. Doing well. Still
All right.
struggling, but I'm here.
All right. No, a
How are
lot,
you? How's it
lot.
going?
Going good.
Good. What we talking about? Where
You
are we
just,
in the conversation?
you just missed. I just played a 7-minute video explaining the timeline of the resurrection.
Oh
That
man,
actually that started. Jesus actually died on Wednesday night.
mm-hmm.
So he spent all day Thursday, all day Friday, and all day Saturday, and resurrected Sunday morning. Well, actually Sunday night, if you're looking at the Jewish calendar. So that's I was basically explaining. I know as I was growing up, when I was younger, I couldn't figure out how, if he died Friday night, and how could he be dead for 3 days and dead for 3 nights and rise up early Sunday morning? It's like it just don't add up.
Right,
So, so
right.
a couple of years ago, I finally found somebody to be able to explain it. And one of the biggest reason why I believe here people over here in the East um, have a hard time understanding because the way we count days and nights.
Yes,
Because yeah,
yes.
we go. Um, uh, lost my train of thought.
You talking
Anyway,
about the way we count days and nights?
yes, we do it opposite.
Right.
We do the opposite from the way they do it, and the way they celebrate um, uh, pretty much everything, even the Sabbath. Like today was they celebrate people who I call them even the Jews or the non-Jews who observe the Sabbath. The
Mm-hmm.
Sabbath ended at 6 p.m.
Right.
So
Right.
that was like the beginning of the new day.
Yep. And starts at 6 p.m. the
Right.
day
Yeah.
before. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's hard for people over here in the East. It's hard for us to understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the major reasons, major way for that timeline to work out.
Yeah. If you look too at the even when you look at creation and the scripture starting out talking about how the world was created, it's the same way. It's the same way.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts with it's night and then day as opposed to day and then night. You just
Yes.
got to read it. Just read it.
Just reading, and then this is way off subject. I was learning about, how God said, "Let there be light,"
Yep.
with no sun.
Yep.
He was a light.
Yep. Yep.
A lot of people like, yeah, and he said the sun, and the sun was here, and it don't add up. So no, it was not. The sun wasn't there. We don't need the sun. He didn't need the sun.
Truth.
But
Truth.
a lot of people they get that confused also about when he's
Truth.
saying, "Let there be light." He brought light into the darkness.
Right. Instead of the
Um,
other way around.
yes, so that's mean we don't need the sun. We don't need the moon, and then the moon is still just reflecting the sun. Um, Let me see. I got some comments over there. Well, yeah, that's what I started off. Start off with the timeline. I know, like I said, I used to have a problem with the timeline. I couldn't understand it. I know I did the math. It just would not work out. And I'm telling you, within the last few years, I finally found somebody to be able to explain it from the Jewish, the Bible, the biblical point of view,
Right.
instead of our point of view. We
Right.
can understand it.
Right.
And then I went from there to I was trying to explain the difference between Easter, how Easter was already been celebrated well before Jesus came on the scene. And I was like, how, the different goddesses, you know, Esther, they different names, Isis, and then I just found this out like a month ago or 2 months ago. A lot of the different countries they have a lot of countries they have their different goddesses based off Esther, off of Isis.
Yes.
And I didn't know that the United States we had ours too. Our Statue of Liberty is pretty much our ISIS, and even um, um, let me go back. Washington D.C. I was doing a study on Washington D.C. and then like, well, what is District of Columbia? No, I don't know. So I started looking up what is Columbia. Columbia is a form of ISIS. And even the Columbia, the movie company, when you see that lady standing there with it, with the torch in her, the rays, and like all this ties back to ISIS and Esther and Easter. So our founding fathers said all those other places they had them a female goddess. We needed one too.
We need one too, so we're gonna stick her out there. Call it a Statue of Liberty. I like it.
I had no, and that's what DC stands for, District of Columbia. Columbia is ISIS.
Wow, I didn't know that either. That's good to know. I didn't know that. I did know the Statue of Liberty was supposed to be our coming up out of the water is supposed to represent our goddess rising up from the water and standing in the middle to hold the world. So I mean, I knew that part, but I did not know about the DC part. So good stuff.
That is it. And so yeah, you start looking into Columbia. That's what it is. Columbia. That's just another name for it's like with even the Starbucks logo. It ties back into it also. So all those, but DC, I think that's what it was. I was studying DC. I'm like, oh, it's just so much, all these symbols and stuff that it's not by chance. Just every single thing, every single street was planned. Every street was pointing somewhere to represent something that wasn't not godly.
Right. There's the Starbucks logo. That's interesting that you brought it up. There's a lot of people who have tried to make connections between Starbucks and the Illuminati, and the whole idea of that being a portion of the symbol for Illuminati. I don't drink coffee, so I ain't have no problem losing it. I ain't have no problem. They didn't bother me, but So
I didn't tie. I'm not sure. I don't know about.
I didn't either. That was just something someone is throwing out. I am looking into it though, because you know me, I'm going to dig until I find out whether it's true or not. So
it's no telling, but I know it is. She is. It's like the Starbucks symbol. If you see the original, whatever the mermaid, but the original one, if you remove the logo, is like basically a woman with her legs wide open. It's supposed to be representing fertility.
Wow.
That's the gospel. But they kind of like put the logo over it, but you just see the tips of the mermaid.
Right.
You know, mermaid shouldn't have two.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Good point. You know, I'm getting ready to look up the logo, right?
But you, like all that is
Let me pull up my second screen.
You got this. Me. I can put, since we don't went down that road. I can bring it.
No, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's
go ahead
fine.
what you got? I'm getting ready to. I'm just looking for myself because I want to know. You know, I have to go find the answers.
Yeah, that's why we do this.
Yes, I got to find
Bring
the answer
stuff
to
up.
that. Let me see what else I got. I'm hooking up my other screen real quick so I can stay focused and do this at the same time.
For well, I think some people came. I'm just let me see. Anybody?
You got some questions or something going on?
I got someone said a Hebrew calendar. I'm gonna add that. Yes, the Hebrew calendar, and I'm gonna just show. I don't know if somebody came in late. I'm just gonna show that timeline again. This was the timeline. Like he passed. Let me back up just a tad bit. Okay.
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Not that far, no. There. So yes, he was just saying that Jesus died right at the end of Wednesday. So that adds up to be midnight on Thursday. It shows you right here how now it adds up 3 full days, 3 full nights. But what we've been doing is starting right here, saying he died right here.
Right.
Yeah, saying he died right here. And somehow you got to squeeze and get 3 days from here to Sunday.
So Joe, what's the then why are we celebrating Good Friday?
I believe that when I say the church, I don't mean that.
You mean the institution of church?
The institution of church, or yes. Quote unquote, I say that I still say the Catholic, the universal church decided to celebrate Good Friday. But I know I didn't really find out exactly why it was Friday, but I know some other things that's associated with the celebration of Easter, like even like the ham. It's just ham. I'm gonna take this. You know what? Anybody that's listening, or I see people dropped off. We can end the show like we're gonna be talking about some fun stuff at the end. we just this the stuff that we need to know. The ham. Some of the church was basically try to make Jews renounce their faith, and part of making them renounce their faith, let's so this the pagans were already using ham to celebrate Easter,
right?
Esther, and they knew that the Jewish people didn't eat ham; they didn't eat pork, so they forced a lot of the Jews to eat ham and pork during this time. Or there was a way to say that you renounce being a Jew, so you got to eat this pork. So it's some like underhanded, bad, evil things, and that goes to something else I learned recently. What does using the Lord's name in vain means? I used to always think using the Lord's name in vain was cussing, but what using the Lord's name in vain is doing something contrary to the word. Like you are a quote unquote Christian, and you're gonna force a Jewish person to eat ham under the name of the Lord. That's using the Lord's name in vain. Those actions that's against God. So it's more than just using cuss words.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And actually, even that, when we were younger, using the Lord's name in vain we couldn't say stuff like Oh gosh, like anything like that. I mean, you get hit in the mouth.
Yep.
Hey, stop using the Lord name in vain. I'm like, well, you around here talking about say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I mean, I'm confused. I'm confused. So I definitely get it. I hear what you're saying, and you're right. You're definitely right. But there, we have to be honest though that there are some things that we have aligned ourselves with, um, as believers that are really grounded in a lot of pagan stuff, and we, and but we've kind of tried to morph it over and then make it not as bad, these religions, these practices. But a lot of our traditions are grounded in practices that if you actually dig into them, they're not biblical
Yeah.
at all. They're just definitely preferences as opposed to having any biblical content or connection.
Yeah. And that's like I said, I try not. I don't like say I'm bashing a particular uh, church or anything, but the truth is the Catholic Church had a lot to do with it. So basically the Roman Catholic Church, when the Romans were conquering the world, when they just a tad bit of the history, when they would go into a particular city or country, the
Mm-hmm.
Roman army would go in there and take over and say, y'all Catholics. But a lot of them, they was like, well, we don't want to give up our God. We don't want to give up
Right.
Esther. We don't want to give up this thing or that thing. So, okay, you can keep that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it on in, add it to it, but you call yourself a Catholic, but keep everything that you got. So
Mm-hmm.
now if you go to countries like South America, but that's a whole continent, but
Yeah, I was
some
gonna
of
say
the
that's a little more than a country, Joe. But go
but I
ahead,
mean,
we got you.
I wouldn't say any particular country, but some countries,
Some
um,
countries in South
they
America.
had different deities or whatever that
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
were praying to
Mm-hmm.
before the Catholic Church came along.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so now let's see what we're gonna do is y'all want to keep all those people that y'all praying to, but we're gonna make y'all Catholic. So what we're gonna do is let all those different
Mm-hmm.
people, well, I don't know what you call them, people, whatever. Instead of continue to pray to them, just change the name to saints.
Right.
So all these that was a saint of love. Here's a saint. You pray to this deity for this thing. Here's a saint. Another Jude, that's John. So now all they did was just combine it. They were still praying to that same
Mm-hmm.
idol, but now
Yep.
they got a name from the Bible and put it in there. You still just I don't say you diluted,
Yeah.
but anyway, that's how a lot of this stuff
Mm-hmm.
got mixed all in, and now it's like you try to explain stuff. It's so like,
Yeah.
I don't know how do we get to this point? How do we
Yeah.
get
Well,
here?
it's layers and layers of tradition, and the constant trying to morph people into one thing that has been considered to be the right thing, whatever that happens to be. The bad part about that is defining right is always going to be decided by the people with the power. That's who's going to decide what's right or what's wrong, uh, on a worldly level. And then, of course, you have your own values and beliefs, and they may or may not align with that. But we know that that is standing what is right. It is right.
Right.
It's right because the Catholic Church says it's right, and the Catholic Church is obviously the foundational church of a lot of these things that we're talking about in terms of the morphing of other religions into something into one big bucket. And in doing that, of course, that's where the power was. So of course they decided what's right, just like
Mhm.
some other folks did with
And
some
that's
other
what the
stuff. But I'll be quiet because that ain't our topic.
but that's the name. Catholic Church means universal. Universal
Yes,
means come on in.
correct,
Let's mix it all in. That
correct,
the
correct.
true, fine line. The true church, the true believers is not universal. Everything is everything is not go. Everything is not good. Everything is not welcome. God is
Right,
not accepting and bringing in everything, so it's not
right,
universal.
correct,
But
correct.
the but then the other sad thing, a lot of majority, almost all the denominations are pointing right back to the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is the foundation, and then all these other branches, they call them is quote unquote Protestant, but it's still the basis of it, the foundation of it, all the foundation teachings of it is coming from the Catholic Church. So it's still Catholic.
Or has a very strong Catholic influence. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I saw this. I'm not gonna. It's a pass. We'll talk about it another time. Well, that's good. But it's just so basically, I just say this person invited. He's a Protestant pastor that invited Catholic priest in there and had direct ties to the Pope. And basically, he in his congregation, he was saying the protest is over. So Protestant is basically protesting from Martin Luther, protesting against the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know Martin Luther's never stopped being a Catholic. He still remained a Catholic. He just protested against some things in the Catholic Church. But then a lot of people, okay, now Protestant has nothing to do with the Catholic Church. No, it still had ties. So this pastor recently, like a couple of years ago, the Pope and this person made agreement that the protest is over. So the Catholic Church is inviting all their protesting churches back in. All different denominations. The Catholic Church is welcoming you all back. And this famous pastor with thousands of Christian believers, he went back. I don't know if anybody left his church or not, but
wow,
he was preaching that the protest is over. It's all over. So what does that mean? That means we're Catholic again. That's what that means. If you was a member of that church,
correct.
He was saying that you're Catholic again. And,
wow.
But I know a lot of our people watch this person and probably give money to him and everything. Like you got to know who you're listening to. You got to know who you're following.
That's right.
You might have a good pastor, locally, but you still kind of like your pastor online.
Yep.
And you still do what they say do.
Yep.
But so that's the Easter side of it. We talked about Easter, and then so now the believers, it's still kind of it's still, even by the believers, I say quote unquote Christians celebrate the resurrection and not the Passover. It still ties back to the Catholic Church. In my studies, it looks like the Catholic Church wanted to cut off any association with the new religion that the man made up as Christianity, make sure it has nothing to do with the Jewish faith, the Hebrew faith, the Jews.
Right.
And I believe we should be looking alike. But if you watch the history of it, it's like they drew a line in the sand. All y'all Jews stay over there.
Right.
You got nothing to do with God. And we are this new religion of Christians. And this is how we're going to do it. This is our new holidays, and we're going to do it this way. And like I said, the more I got to start studying, like, we should be celebrating like that. We should be celebrating. I believe, we should be celebrating resurrection and celebrating the Passover also, and not forgetting the Passover and celebrating Easter.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's just so interesting to think about when you really start digging how much you find out about what things we think are really legitimate structures, and we realize that they're not what we have been taught all of our lives that they were, in terms of religious power structures, spiritual power structures. It's crazy when you really start digging and you realize the connections that really exist between organizations and between these entities that really all say they come to one God. What, depending on what that God just happens to be named is what happens in a lot of these situations or settings too. So it's just crazy. It's crazy stuff.
Yep. So that's on to Passover, and I wanted to bring up some. That's why I had that picture of the Passover. I think a lot of times we see some of the like the Egyptian movies, but now I'm getting a little bit like you because some of this stuff I don't want to. I don't like watching stuff when the people are not represented. Um,
Appropriately,
represented right.
accurately.
Yes, I'm like when I even somebody. It's a lot of good. Like there's probably some good resurrection movies out there. But when I started looking at the cast and nobody looked like us in the
Right,
whole entire, I can't watch it. I'm like,
right.
we should be better than that by now. You don't have
We
to be
should.
everybody, but at least some. And then some people believe that well, some people even teach that the only person of color in the Bible was the one who helped Jesus carry the cross. That is totally not true. The whole
No,
just about the whole
no.
entire Bible is people of color.
Yeah, where are you
Other
getting this stuff from? Oh my gosh.
but
Again, just history, just tradition and what we've learned to believe to be true. Wow.
and that's that I don't know. I won't even go down that road, but it's still it's a reasoning. Um, you can't you can, but it's hard to better yourself and hard to teach
Mm-hmm.
your family, your children
Mm-hmm.
when all your examples have been taken away from
Mm.
you. Anybody that they can say, that's a great person over there, and that person did great things. Even open up the Bible, it's so many people that look like you in this Bible. If you take all that away and say everybody that did anything is not your race, it's hard to hard to find an example when everything's
Right,
been taken away.
right,
But then when you
right.
find the truth, it's
Wow.
like, wait a minute, the truth is the
Wow.
opposite.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere you look, just like everywhere you
Wow.
look, there's God. Everywhere you look, there's our that we had some representation. We had something to do with it. All throughout
Absolutely.
history.
I was listening to a podcast earlier, um, trying to look for where it was. It was a podcast earlier, and it was talking about something very similar. It's talking about how so much of who we are gets lost in the translation, particularly when we're not at the table to help translate. So just looking at some of that stuff, I was looking at one of the stories. One of them was about the real um, the real Lone Ranger.
Oh yeah, I just stumbled across that too.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, what was that man's name? Was it Best Silver? Best, I'll find out. But he was, I mean, just in listening to his story and realizing how incredible he was, and how all of that got washed away in the
Mhm.
retelling of the story. But that's not what we're talking about. So I'm going to shut up because I can go into
But
I go into the
it's
retelling here.
still relevant. And I just want I want to this. I'm glad they don't. I don't know if they use it here. I'm going to bring up this picture.
Oh Lord, oh goodness, let me see
I'm
what you're
glad they
looking at.
don't use it in real life. This Starbucks.
Oh yeah, the old one, the original. Yeah, that one, the coffee tea spices. Yeah, yeah.
That's what. That's no. A mermaid does not have legs.
Listen, that this one does, and her hair has the position of her hair changes over the years as well.
She looked like an old no, but yeah, that's she got the boobs out and legs spread wide
Hmm.
open.
Yep, yep. That one was in use until 1987. That one that you just showed. Yes, 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 yes. Her spread wide open with two legs wrapped behind her head. That's funny. That's funny.
But it's have you know how stuff can be just blatantly brought on the scene and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
nothing.
Nothing's
Okay,
no one said a word. It's been fine. Been fine. Been fine. My the guy I was thinking of was Bass Reeves. I don't know how I forgot Reeves. We got the same last name.
oh yeah,
Reeves, Bass Reeves, famous cowboy.
yeah. Uh, oh yeah, that I was just Starbucks straight out 15th century. Put on logo.
Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what it is. Just looking at how it's evolved over time.
But
Wow.
it don't mean that it's everything is innocent.
Right. Right. Listen, I challenge people to really look deeper, because everything in most cases is trying to give you some sort of a message. It just
Mhm.
is. You got to figure out what that message is and what that logo means and what those words mean, but it's there. If you look hard enough, it's definitely there.
And well, this is why we're gonna tie into like what I want to end off of how we used to celebrate
Mhm.
the holiday. But like what you're saying, I don't know if you heard what was what's going on in the state of Florida. DeSantis just signed that bill, but then Disney, we already know Disney has been slowly putting different things. Uh, I guess I don't have no Disney sponsors, so I guess it won't hurt me. But they was subtly putting images in, and it was some, I don't know if it leaked out or they wanted it out. It was like by um I don't know if it's next. I'm sorry, I just forgot the year. I don't know if it's next year or
Mhm.
real soon. I know
Mhm.
real soon they said they want at least half the characters to be gay, lesbian, transgender in all the cartoons and all the stuff that they're producing.
Yep. And also disabilities. They wanted people with disabilities as well.
I'm fine with the disabilities, but
Yep.
but a lady was like saying, why do you have to introduce sex? I just saw this lady did an interview that was like she was agreeing with DeSantis that new law. Um, they said they want to be inclusive. Most kids are already inclusive. Most kids don't care that they're taught um, to think or treat someone differently. So
Right.
they're taught. So they're already. That's my friend. You probably saw this viral video. Is a little boy of color and a white
Mhm.
little boy, best friends, dress alike, go to school. And they said, "That's my best friend. We
Mhm.
twins. Both of
Mhm.
them. We are twins."
Mhm.
They don't see the color. They don't know nothing about. That's a boy, and he should act like a girl. None of that.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
just all inclusive. That's my friend. I don't care nothing about his sex, race, creed, nothing.
Right.
We are the ones
We teach
that's
it.
bringing
Yeah.
this in.
We definitely teach it. Definitely teach it. I mean, children are born neutral. Everything they get from that point forward is poured into them through things that they either hear, what it's not necessarily all of what they hear, what you tell them, but it's mostly what they see and what they live.
Mhm.
So, and we have to be mindful of that as parents. And it looks like, Joe, this is scheduled for December. Nope. This is scheduled for 17 gay and LGBTQ Disney characters are to be added by the end of this year.
Wow,
Yeah,
they're moving fast.
by the end of 2022. 15, 15 times Disney featured uh, LGBTQ and characters in their movies and on television shows. And Disney has progressed even more with portrayals of gay love with the cartoon. With let's see, with the cartoon Star versus the Forces of Evil, and the first showing of a same-sex kiss in the episode entitled "Just Friends." Um, it's referencing that was when it actually started in 2017, and now they're moving to make it more consistently integrated.
Wow, but and
Yeah.
I still say we as believers have to stand up. But I know the world looks at us. We are the wrong ones. We're in the wrong side of this. I'm not. I say we, far as disabilities, I'm all for that. We should be able to see all forms of disabilities,
Hmm.
but I still feel like that this sexual orientation, all that, what's that? That has nothing really to do with um,
Cartoons.
cartoons and growing up.
Yeah.
I understand. I saw that one. They got like the kid with the two dads and one with two moms. Yeah, there's maybe I can understand that,
Yeah.
but them themselves having these
Yeah.
types of relationships, that shouldn't be in anything with our kids.
Here's the thing though that we may need to think about. One, we need to look at this and realize that it's not. And I know what I'm about to say is very controversial, and I'm just in that space because I see it every day. I live. I mean, as being an educator, I see it every single day, and we do have to start integrating things that make kids feel a little more inclusive or included. But I will tell you that I think that the introduction of sexuality or sex, anything that has to do, we have to change our mindset from thinking that everything that has to do with gay is sex, as opposed to thinking about people and then the thing, as opposed to thinking about the thing being purely sexual and then something else. Now, I agree with you that I don't see why it makes a difference one way or the other with the characters. I don't know why it has to be this concerted effort to do like push forward any particular character, but I felt the same way when we didn't have any black princesses. We didn't have any black anything. So I think that looking at a more inclusive society is something that we all, even as Christians, have to get our minds wrapped around, because we
Hmm.
don't have to, it may not be our choice, but we cannot deny that somebody has to also reach this segment of people. And that's, again, that's not confirmed, or that's not pushing or promoting anything as it relates to pushing this in front of children. But I also think that a lot of our disdain for things like this is what keeps us from being able to reach a growing population of people, because we don't give it we don't look at them still as people. We look at them as their sexuality or the decision that they've made as it relates to their lifestyle, how they choose to live their lifestyle. And we can't reach people that we won't touch. We can't reach people that we won't go after. And if we condemn a massively growing population of people, we'll be over here in our little saved corner with all these people doing whatever they do over here, and nobody's willing to touch it. Nobody's willing to say anything about it. Nobody's willing to engage those folks and say, "Hey, you know, let me learn more about you. Not that I want to become you, but so that I'll know really from our perspective, what then are we dealing with? How then do we then integrate, infiltrate, and then show them something different if that's what our desire is." But I always find it to be very, very hypocritical of us as the greatest of these is love people, to not
Hmm.
love people based on what we have decided to be one sin is worse than the other sin is another. And yes, I know all the terms, one's an abomination, one wasn't, blah, blah, blah. You read that correctly. There was a lot of stuff that was an abomination that was going on right there. It wasn't just the sex part. But I'm going to just be quiet because that
Yeah,
ain't what we're
that's
talking about today.
I totally agree. Um, yes, love. What the person say? Love the sinner, not the sin.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's been my
right.
thing, and I kind of I'm the one I could. What your lifestyle is your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One time I used to get mad if somebody like if a male would try to address me or try to talk to me or something, then my
Yeah,
horns would come out.
yes, I
Outside of
get
that,
that.
whatever, I don't. That's your thing. But
Yeah.
but back to the kids, back to
Mm-hmm,
the kids is like
mm-hmm,
um sometimes just to what I'm trying to say, you have to bring up your sex um preference just to even bring the subject up. And like it shouldn't even come up. I could care less what your preference is.
but
But
here's the
some people
thing.
they want to bring it on the scene, like, okay, this is what I like, and this is what I want. Like, I don't care. You know
Right.
what that has nothing to do with what we got going on here. It
Right.
doesn't have nothing to do with the kids, you know, entertaining the kids, and some of them trying to educate the kids.
Agreed. I think for me, with this is definitely a hot topic. Definitely one. I just think that it's interesting on a larger scale because the outrage that I hear coming from particularly from religious people,
Hmm.
um, or yeah, people who practice religion as opposed to spirituality. In that religious tone that has that judgmental place, it always floors me that we can have this kind of an outrage over something like this, but we don't have that same outrage over the people that are being killed in our streets every single day, or the same kind of outrage over something else. And remember, this still comes down to Disney can put whatever they want on their TV. You just can't watch that in my house. We won't have Disney Channel or whatever it happens to be. It still comes down to a need for parents to be actively engaged in raising their children to be the people that they want them to be when they're older in their lives, the people who can help them, the people who are being raising good citizens and raising people who can be functional and self-sustaining. And I think it all comes back to parenting, because ultimately Disney can put on whatever they want to. I mean, everybody had a fit when the Playboy channels came on. You just don't subscribe to the Playboy channel. Then we got to worry about the Playboy channel. It's the same thing. So when we start talking about, okay, we're okay with women on women in like porn for those who are watching it. Yeah, I said it. But we're not okay with gay men, or like walking in the church. Like what is that thing? Or it's okay. You have some people that are like, I just don't want none of it. I don't like anybody gay, yada yada yada. And you got all these feelings about it, but you have an adulterous relationship where you got all these other things going on. When are we going to really put that greatest of these as love in front, and then start saying, now, how do we make everybody feel welcome as people so that we then can engage with them to really accomplish our mission? And we're not going to be able to do that because let me tell you, church folk, we're getting pushed farther and farther into a corner. And all we're doing, because those other populations, and I'm not just talking about our LGBTQ populations, but I'm talking about all the populations now that are denouncing this thing of organized religion. We're going to be in a bad spot if we don't start figuring out how to get off of our high horses and to start reaching out to folks and letting them know, showing them something different. But if we're just saying y'all over there and we're over here and we're right and y'all wrong, we're doing it wrong.
Hmm.
We're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong because Jesus hung out with all kind of folks, all kind of folks.
Totally agree. You can't reach the world. You never go out, be
Correct.
near the world, be in
Correct.
amongst the world. You don't
Correct.
have to do what they do.
Right.
You got to spend some time. You got to get to know them. They need to get to know you,
Correct. Correct.
and
And
they
you
need to
have
see you. They need to
correct.
see your lifestyle.
That's right. And you have no idea how impactful that would be if we would just stop shunning people. We're so judgmental and quick to just oh, you're going to hell. Shut up. Shut up. That's not the way that you're gonna make anybody do anything. Particularly when we're starting to think about people who we've already made to feel. And I'm not just talking sexuality now. I'm talking about the millennials, or these groups of people, the millennials and everything since then, that we've somehow isolated through our own actions and words, and our inability to adapt, not not in what we're saying but in how we say it so that we can reach different people.
I agree. We already had an hour.
Oh goodness. Got it.
Can let's do some. I know this is not me.
Mhm.
Come on. I'm gonna bring it up.
Yes,
You
Joe.
got any memories of
Yes, Joe.
you
That's not
dressing
you.
up? Huh?
Yes, yes, that's not you there. No, you had on your suit jacket. You had to be clean. Yes, look
I
at them
probably had
little
on
white.
some corduroy.
Right, look at them little white patent leather shoes. That's me. That's me right there. Headed to church in my grandma's car. That looks like my grandma.
Y'all had some of those black and white shoes.
Now I had little white ones and I had some little black ones, and you couldn't get them scuffed up, so you had to take them off before you had to take them off as soon as you got home. You remember you used to take off your church clothes. You have to go home and take off your church clothes before you could do anything else.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that's the good old days. I thought like somebody was saying this is um so many hairs being fried right now.
Yes.
And most people go to the hair salon now, but
Yeah, we gotten a little highfalutin now, but in that kitchen, that grease would right now be popping on the side of you, holding your head like this, and you getting popped with the comb on one
yeah,
side and burned on your neck with the other with the straightening comb.
that's
All
what
that.
that was my job. I had three sisters.
Oh
My
Lord.
job was to transport the hot iron, the hot comb from the kitchen to the living room,
That's it.
back and forth.
That's it. And put it on that paper towel that's burnt up from got the little
Yeah,
comb print on it.
back and forth. The comb done got cold, Joe. Come put it back on the stove.
Yeah, come put it on the
Go get
stove.
it, put it on the stove. All right, it should be hot in there. Bring it back. Back and forth.
Look, and why do we have that green and that blue magic and that green grease that they know gonna pop down and burn on your neck?
I didn't have to experience that. I just had to bring the hot.
Woo, that was a mess, boy.
That's all I did. But what about yeah, they had that outfit.
Oh yeah, that was a thing. Them
And
socks, yeah, the Easter eggs,
yes, painting the Easter eggs.
yep,
Used to love that.
yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
And that was here's the I should have found pictures of actual people.
Oh no,
I
you
thought
good, you good. We
at
get
the
the point.
last minute I was like, let me find some
We
pictures
get
of
the
the
point.
old days.
We get the point. Yep. I saw some people doing an Easter egg hunt today.
Yeah.
Yep, they moved it to
But
today.
so my point, that's not I'm the restoration and the life. Whosoever believe in me, though he dies, yet shall he live. But this is
Mhm.
the one I want to bring up. Explain Easter to children in a way they'll never forget.
Wow.
So, the main point, the reason for this our the show
Hmm.
is basically to tell the truth and
Yeah,
and
I like it.
teach our kids the truth, teach everything.
Hmm.
It's not. I think a lot of kids they thinking it's only about the bunnies,
And the
only about
baskets.
the basket and dressing up and getting the candy. But this is what it's about: the thorns
Hmm.
and the nails.
Hmm.
We need, and I'm really mostly talking to quote unquote the believers.
Right.
Mostly, it's like the world. A lot of times, the world teaches the kids more than the people in the church.
Hmm.
Um, so we need the full story. Is more than just dressing up, getting candy. Um, they need to know the truth of it
Hmm.
all, and not when they getting old. They don't know all they know is you're supposed to eat Easter. You're supposed to eat candy on Easter. We're supposed to have
That's
a
right.
basket full of candy and eggs.
That's right. Get the eggs and make sure you got the ham and the that stuff. That's
Yeah,
it. That's it.
that
And for you're right. For so many, that's what this is, and they've forgotten it. The other thing too, though, you made a good point. Is everybody the world is going to teach your children something,
mhm,
and you can either have something in place that counters that, or you can wait and try to be reactive. And generally, they're gonna hold on to what they heard first. So my suggestion is always tell your children the truth and be able to walk them through a scenario. And if you don't know, ask somebody how to do it. Get with an educator that does it all the time. Say, hey, how do I make my young child understand Easter? Understand what what happened, and get somebody that can help you with that if you don't know how to do it. But it's really just saying the words, But that also means you got to know how to do it, and you got to know how to communicate with your kids.
Got to.
Yeah.
So it sounded like we had this has been a deep lesson, a deep topic, but it needed it. We needed it. I still learn a lot.
I do too.
Everything that we said, you look it up. If I was wrong, come and tell me I was wrong, and I'll go see what you told. Where I was wrong at. I would learn from it. Mm-hmm. I'm not here saying I'm a know-it-all, but it's still a lot of things. I believe God is opening my eyes and letting me see a lot of different things. A lot of times it's hard to bring it up because, like a lot of people are caught up on tradition, mm-hmm. and we don't want to hear nothing else. We don't want to hear it. Just that's the way my granddaddy did it. My daddy did it. That's why I'm gonna do it, and that's why I'm gonna teach my kids to do it. But a lot of this we just was with tradition, and you just kept repeating stuff. A lot of times we got off track and start repeating the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. Now we back on track. We see the truth. It's time to teach and start living the truth.
That's right. Good point. Very good point. It's always going to be important to continue to learn and grow. Like I said, there were some things. I mean, one of the things you shared tonight, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Let me go look. And I had not paid as much attention to I was looking at the Starbucks thing for the Illuminati stuff in it and trying to see it, making those connections, but had not made the other connection. So it's now here on this screen. I'm looking at all the versions of it that's come up. So, it's a lot to learn by listening and particularly tuning in to things like this where people are just having conversation around good stuff. Mm-hmm. You always learn a lot. Always learn a lot.
All right. And it's a show of love.
That's right.
We love everybody. I love everybody.
Yes.
So everybody's welcome.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, it's an hour. I hope y'all learned something. I know a lot of people start coming in late. Any questions? Anybody got any comments? I see Sharice. We had one person said a Hebrew calendar. Yep, the disability should be accepted. I'm all for it. I'm happy when I see that on TV.
Yeah.
And now commercials now.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a yes. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what we was talking about.
That's all right, Sharice. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for the comments. And anybody else before we leave, any other comments, any questions for us before we leave about this Easter, Resurrection Sunday, Passover show? We just talked about all of it. Just put it all out on the table. We just got us a good evening. Hello, good evening. Who is this and where you at? Where you from? Anything. You didn't put your name in there when they said put your name in.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we thank you for watching.
Yes.
At the top of the show, we start off with the timeline of resurrection. Like I said, if you do the math, if Jesus died at Friday night, there's no way 3 days could be Sunday morning, our time. Oh, hello, Miss Sharon Sue.
Hey, Sharon.
AKA Miss Billy Bob. How y'all doing?
That's so awful. Sharon, you are an individual. You are not forever known as Miss Billy Bob. You are Sharon / Miss Billy Bob. We'll put your name first, Sharon. You are a person. You really are. Yeah, Joe, like you were just saying too, the timeline was interesting. I'm glad that you were able to share that and make sense. The good part is that we had time to explain how days were different. And if you read the Bible, it was night and then the day. It was night and then that's how days are counted. And if you do it the way that it's outlined in the Bible, you'll see that cycle takes you back to that makes it the third day.
It makes a lot of sense, and that's one of my statements. I just would tell Sharice, you got to put on your kingdom glasses. I got my glasses right here somewhere. I say There you go. I say put on your kingdom glasses is because look at mine. They got all sorts of fingerprints. But
These are my kingdom glasses.
right.
Look, these are my kingdom
They
glasses.
look like some Charlie Angels
I
get
know I can
glasses.
see all the way to the kingdom. I can see to the Oh
But
goodness.
the reason why I say even with anybody when you study the Bible, we have a mindset of the East, we have a mindset of America, a mindset of the United States. A lot of that controls the way we think.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible is written kingdom. So sometimes you have to start thinking kingdom, and you would be able to understand the Bible better.
Correct.
You can't look at it as even American. We have an American mindset, and a lot of things that we think the way we do things doesn't when we read the Bible don't make sense. But you have to really understand how things were back then, or how things are still in the East, that it is over here in quote unquote the West.
Let me say too, Joe, while you're saying that, because this was something that we know it, but you don't think about it until. And I was listening to something the other day, and it came up, and we started talking about it, and um, and you know my husband,
Mhm.
you know how he does. He gets started, and you're like, okay, 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 okay. The King James, we get you, King James, we get you. But we were talking about something, and I was explaining to him. I said that we hang up on the King James version of the Bible as though, and we have to look at too that the King James version of the Bible is written the way that it is because it was translated by King James. So you have to look at the fact that there's some other iterations of the Bible that are still that have been translated from those same writings that the King James version was, but if that's happening in different places, those versions of the Bible it's their translation. So the Bible that we read as King James is written using the language that King James used at the time. And keep in mind that King James was not savvy in the language that he was interpreting at the time either. That was not a language that he was speaking and or clearly understood. So when you start to look at other versions of the Bible, one of the things that we were talking about is that that doesn't lessen the value of the Bibles in other places. It's just based on who interpreted it and how they interpret it. Because right now we're hanging on King James's version of his interpretation of what was inspired, what inspired him, what was written on those tablets, what was written in those notes. That was his interpretation of that, and taking that and being able to articulate it in the words that he used that they used at that time in that place. So as it moved from place to place, those translations may look different, but it's all somebody's interpretation of what was given to them as the word. So
Man, I cannot find it. It's this Bible. I
mhm.
can't. I had up in Amazon. I was trying to find one to order, and I can't even spell it. I got to look it up. It's
What is it?
okay. It's this. It begins with C. Surfer. It's a Hebrew word, but I can explain what it is. The that this it's not called a Bible. It's called a Surfer. Anyway, when they translated the Bible, they Lord. No, we done started a whole nother show. the
I know I'm gonna be quiet. That's
the
what happened
word.
all the time. I always have something extra. Let me shut up. I'm quiet.
You know, our heavenly Father Elohim has multiple names.
Hmm.
So when they translated, they took most of his names out and put Lord. This Bible put every name of God back in the original place. Everywhere you say
Really?
God, where God was there, and where when they use Lord, they put the name that was there, because basically a lot of times the actual God's name has a meaning behind it. A lot of times that
Yes.
meaning is in that particular place.
Right.
So wherever if you read this Elohim, Jehovah Jireh, whatever it was, it will make a lot of more sense at that particular place. And also they would put even the disciples, they put all their original names. There was not that their name wasn't Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Right.
They would, those names were even I don't even think back in well, I don't know. I can't tell you that. I know King James was 1600 version.
Yeah, 1630 was the official. 1613 to 1618 was the starting the study, and then around 1630 is when it was completed.
So so that's when they put Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So that got me to where I like to start using Yeshua. A lot of different
Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Yeah.
Yeshua.
Yeah.
Like we say, but I'm going way over here. There are some preachers that ban people from even saying Yeshua in their churches. All right, I'm coming back in.
Yeah, but
that Bible, that version puts the original names back in there, and so
I am looking
like I said,
for
if you read,
what's
when I brought up
C word, right?
Yes, it's a. I might get my iPad. No, my iPad, because that's what I was looking at it on. It was the cheapest one was like $350.
I'm sure
because I believe it's not that many of them out there. There's not many around. Sharice, is my iPad around there? I'll look it up. We'll bring it the next time we talk.
Yeah, we're taking up people's time right now Googling. But
I'll get it late. I'll do it later. But
please let me know what it is when you get a chance.
Okay.
Can you spell the word?
I'm a bad. It's super. You really want me to find it now? I guess.
Go ahead. We got people. We got people hanging out here listening to us figure out stuff. So
I think they probably curious too. So
right.
I'll be right back. I
definitely want to know.
Hold on.
Sorry, y'all. We feel like y'all need to know this. Hey, Joe, your chair fancy. I need one of those fancy chairs like you. Oh, hey, if you're on here, Joe gone. Y'all got some real questions, go ahead and put them in the chat.
Okay. All right. Sorry. iPad. Come on, don't fail me. Come on. Windows. Amazon. Where's Amazon? I got 400 minutes. Let's go here. Let's go real quick. Amazon. I hope it brings an A.
Well, don't tell Stanley because he'll find one.
Oh my goodness!
Don't tell him.
Oh, here.
He'll have one of these, and then I have to learn Hebrew.
It's not in Hebrew though. It's in English. They better just put those names back in there.
No, I'm talking about he'll be the one.
I want to take a Hebrew class.
Look, yeah, that's what he's doing.
Lord,
I told him that's fine. You can speak as many languages as you want to, as long as you can speak English. I'm good.
I'm gonna have to give me some time to find it because it was
the word of God is
when I looked it up. It wasn't, but Oh my goodness.
What?
You
You need
look
your
so
glasses?
clear.
You need your glasses?
Man, you've been blurry the whole night.
What
Wow.
happened?
These
You
glasses work.
yes, that's probably speaking. That's probably saying a little bit more about your need than the
I
lighting.
don't need no stinking glasses.
You do, you do, you do. And if
I
you
see
ever run
everything.
out, you can always come get these.
But it is well, anyway. Sharice can get on me now. I'm gonna have this. I gotta spend a little bit of time to find it. But I brought up on Amazon. Only three was on Amazon, and they was like $300 some a Bible. It was not too much to choose from. But I will let you know when I find it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I
Please
thank
let me
y'all for
know.
tuning in. I would pray everybody have a great and happy Resurrection Sunday
Yes.
tomorrow. And hope y'all learned something tonight. You know, we love everybody. And I discovered having my glasses on, everything looks clear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a great show for y'all next week. I don't know what it is. This you here next week, and then the following week you're out of town,
Yes.
right?
Next week. Next week. Then I'm out.
Okay.
Yep.
But we have a
I'm
good
out.
show. I'm gonna post. I'm gonna send it out. I got a lot of people waiting to do the interviews. I mean, it's crazy. Like people, they want to be on the show. It's just trying to plan it right. So
You want me to look
let you know
for him?
you got some big eyes.
And look how small they are for real. That's why I need these.
That's prescription glasses there.
No, these are
Oh,
some that I got off Amazon for my blue screen. So they wouldn't hurt my light. I mean hurt my eyes. The screen. Clearly they're too
okay.
big. They keep falling down. That's okay. I like them.
Well, all right. Well, I thank you for your time.
Yeah, me too. Thank you guys so much for being here. And let's figure out what we're gonna do next week, Joe, so we can get it out there.
I will do. Like I said,
Give
I
us
got
something
several.
good. Give us something good
It's
so
gonna
we
be
can go
something
do
good. I got some great people that's wanting to be interviewed. It's like they're coming to me. It's like,
it. All
thank you,
right.
Lord.
That's
And
right.
the
Let's
topic
get them.
we almost talked about it. Nick. Shri,
Sharice, leave me alone. You want my glasses, Sharice? Sharice want my glasses. I
I
got
can't
you.
use her glasses hurt my eyes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do my sister like that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, yeah. I know you said some great guests lined up.
I will let you know.
Yep.
Um, getting their time line. I got this lady. Man, I got this lady that's made a board game. It's like it's a witnessing tool, but it's a nice board game that she invented during the pandemic.
Really?
We can have her on.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool.
I'm ready to buy the game, ready to play the game,
Really?
but we can have her on.
All
I gotta
right.
know it.
All right. All right. Sharice said, no, you didn't leave her glasses alone, Joe. Look, he couldn't see out of his, Sharice. He couldn't see until he put his on. I've been fuzzy all night to him, bless his heart.
It is. It's like it's in low definition.
Yeah.
Man, it's in high definition.
That's awful. That's awful. Listen, we Joe too, we may need to think about too having an opportunity to talk to some folks around before the month is over, if at all possible. Um, get some folks on around autism. It's autism month this month. It's also sexual exploitation month. It's also um, it's like four big things this month, and I can't remember what all of them are, but I do. Oh, it's stress free month and something else. Autism stress free. Financial literacy month. So, and then we got a bunch of stuff coming up for next month. A bunch of things that are being celebrated next month. So we may be able to
All
find
right.
do some stuff
I
around
would
those
do.
too.
We did. We started with. autism is a big subject we want to do. We did a financial class on our Wednesday night class.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was so good. We
Mm-hmm.
got to start a family bank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, she was good. So we got to bring her on. And I got another lady, the same one that invented the board game.
Mm-hmm.
She teaches finances also. So we got
Awesome.
two heavy hitter financial people.
Awesome. Awesome. We need
Uh,
to also bring on someone who can talk to us about the importance of insurance. As a Black community, as a community, and I know all of our listeners are not people of color. However, people of color are struggling right now, and we did a wills clinic teaching people how to do simple wills, and we had an amazing attorney, my sorority sister Danielle. She came on and just volunteered her time to walk people through how to create a will and how important it was, and gave some real life experiences, real cases that she has. And one of the funny things she always says is, we can put your will in place, and you can pay for my vacation, or you can pay my mortgage, or you can not put it in place and need me to do it in the background and pay for my 20,000, 40,000, $60,000 vacations, or whatever I'm trying to do. Pay off another home for me, or buy something else for me. So she says that to say we just simply need to put the time in up front. And so many people are afraid to talk about wills because, one, they don't want to talk to people about money, but the other part of it is they're afraid that they think it means they're thinking about death. And I always say that people create generational wealth, start to build generational wealth for their families or for their children by through inheritance. And if
mhm,
you don't have that seed money to do that, then you may want to have a life insurance policy. So when you die, you'll be able to leave your children in a place, or leave whomever you leave your information, you leave your things to, leave them in a place where they are now able to continue to create generational wealth. So
yeah,
that's something else we definitely need to talk about.
that's
And I can
exactly.
definitely, yeah, Danielle would be happy to jump on and walk us through some things.
Let me know. We can set it up. That's
Yep.
what the lesson was. It was 2 weeks ago. It was about the lesson was about make generational setting up generational wealth.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
and one of
Yeah.
my comments was, it's time for us, especially us as a people, to stop passing away and leaving our people behind to set up a GoFundMe to put you in the ground.
Yes. 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 Well, for the record, I mean, nobody's gonna have to go fund nothing for us, which is great. Because again, we've taken the time to make those decisions and to make our wishes known. Stanley and I both gonna be cremated. If I down Monday, Tuesday morning, throw me in the incinerator. Go take me some blue water, not the water down. No water in Jacksonville, not the brown ocean or the brown river. Take me somewhere and dump me in the water, and that's it. So I mean, our wishes, but they're clear, and we've had those discussions, and our families know, and our paperwork is in place, and things are where people can find them. So there's so many things that we need to talk about as it relates to that in our community, because we just won't do it. We just won't. And then you end up with no long-term care, no short-term care, nothing. So somebody's trying to figure out how they're gonna put you in the house, and if your Medicaid gonna be enough to cover you the nurse, and it's just too much. So there are things that we
Hmm.
really should put in place, so that we like to say we don't want to be a burden on our children, we don't want to bother people. Then get your business right. So there's
Hmm.
some things that we can talk about around that at another time. But yeah, there's a
I
big
got
space for that.
yes. Already wanted to talk about it. Already had some plans,
Awesome.
but don't have just haven't had it lined up yet.
Yep. Well, we got it. Let me know. We're good to go. We're ready.
All right. So let me know your people, and I get our people. We line this thing up.
That's right.
All right. We on overtime.
Yes, we
But
are.
again, we thank you. Hey, it was a good show. Good show. Good show. Good show.
Yes. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out. And thanks, Joe, for inviting me into the room. I appreciate it.
You welcome. All right, and more people come on in. Join us next time. Just tell us you want to be in. We can add you in.
That's
All
right.
right. Stay right there.
I
See you
got you.
later. All right. All right, everybody. I thank y'all for joining us this week. We talked about a lot of stuff. If you missed it, you got to go back to the beginning and watch it from the beginning. Everything we talk, everything we teach it in love. We love God and we love you. All right, until next week, until next time, be blessed. And